So everybody knows that we pay twice as much for our healthcare as the rest of the world does. I mean, the Western world anyway, and we have worse results. And our system leaves over 30 million, 30 million people out. Some say 29. But you go, everybody, even if you have health insurance, gets left out because when you go to get a medical treatment, your health insurance company, they have another doctor who never met you who denies you that treatment. So you have not paying for it out of your pocket. People go bankrupt. It's the number one leading cause for bankruptcies in America. Even people who have health insurance go bankrupt. So Obamacare was a half measure. It was barely a half measure. The big thing was it made them have to cover people with pre-existing conditions. But again, even if you think you have coverage, when you go to use it, they can pull the rug right out from underneath you, which has happened to me and my family several times. In fact, just most recently, I had to get a CT scan, and Blue Cross wouldn't pay for it. They didn't say why they wouldn't pay for it. They just said they wouldn't pay for it, so I had to go pay for it out of my pocket. So the solution to this is Medicare for all, meaning that when you go to the doctor orders a treatment, and you go get the treatment, and that's it. And who pays for that? The government. It's paid through taxes, just like when you get in your car and you drive on a road. That road, it's paid for already by taxes. Just that's how it's supposed to work. So you pay your taxes, you get your health care. Hey, who pays for the military? Taxes. We pay our taxes, we get the military. So here's some guys from Pod Save America. So now, if you don't know what Pod Save America is people who are defenders of the status quo. They're from the Barack Obama administration, and they started a podcast basically as going against Donald Trump. And so they're do you call people like that reactionaries? Is that what? Because they want to go back to the status quo. And the status quo, remember, the big mistake they're making is the status quo is what gave us Donald Trump. If you want to know why 100 million eligible voters didn't vote, it's because the status quo, because what you were offering them was the status quo or Donald Trump. So what these guys do is they're pretty much, I can't claim that I listen to their podcast. I don't. But I've read articles that mention them and talk about them, and I know who they are, and I know they're from the Barack Obama administration. And then I saw the one guy talk at the Democratic convention here in California, right? He came down, the guy from Pod Save, and it was a real fucking snooze fest because all he did was back up corporate talking points. And here he is going to do it again. Watch this mental gymnastics about healthcare. Watch this. So we all know Medicare for all is the most, Medicare in the United States is the most efficient healthcare program in the world. I mean, the country. It's the most popular, and it covers everybody over 65. Nobody left out. Can we make improvements to Medicare? Yes, we can. There's actually some gaps and some holes in Medicare we have to fix. But we should expand that to everybody. Here's what the corporatists at Pod Save America, who claim to be fighting for you, this is their big idea. Watch this word salad.
There are legitimate policy arguments in favor of a Medicare access approach as opposed to a Medicare for all approach that is not ideological in the sense that it doesn't make you less liberal and it doesn't make you less progressive to view it as a positive outcome. Because again, we are all going to end up paying for healthcare. The ultimate goal here is.
And when you keep the health insurance companies a part of it, you end up paying twice as much for healthcare. He goes, we're all going to end up paying for healthcare. And when you keep the current system with insurance companies in between you and your doctor, that increases the costs, which is why we pay twice as much as the rest of the world. That's one of the big reasons. Okay, here we go.
Not a process one. It is not, they're a private healthcare plan versus a Medicare plan. If you have good insurance that you can afford, that protects you when you need it most, that gives you.
Pause. The whole point is that it is unaffordable. That is what healthcare is right now. So to say I'm going to do this, I'm going to compare Medicare to an insurance plan that you can afford. What the fuck?
We don't have affordable healthcare right now.
There are 30 million people that are not covered.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with your brain that you can say that? This is you deceiving yourself. If you were an alcoholic, I would say your alcoholic brain is playing tricks on you. This is you. This is a guy doing everything he can to keep that corporate cash rolling. And still try to look like he has integrity as a progressive. He's not. He's a corporatist, and he's selling you a bill of fucking goods, this guy. This is bullshit. Whether you have a private insurance or Medicare for all, first of all, those are vastly different. You know why? Because the private insurance denies you coverage. They're there to make a profit off you. Guess what? Medicare's not there to make a profit off you. They're there to deliver health care to you. Private insurance, they're to make money by denying you health care. That's how they make the fucking money. They deny you care. So whether it be this or that, you're complete. Who listens to these people? Who the fuck listens to them?
I think what he's saying is that, I mean, let's substitute food in, for instance.
Okay.
Like so some people like they have an approach where you have access to food, like you can like see it in a mirror.
You can
maybe
walk in the routes.
You can look in a garden. Maybe other people have food that you get to eat, and they want everyone to have food, and everyone gets food. It's food for all. But no matter what, food costs money. That was this guy's podcast. That's what he just said. That's literally what he just said.
That is, again, an accurate paraphrasing of what he just said. And there's more to this. Let's play it. Watch. It gets dumber.
Option to get the preventative care that you need without bankrupt you and your family, that makes you feel safe and protected. That is the goal.
No, that's not the goal. Because that's not achievable with private health insurance. Again, this guy, I guess, has never been sick. He doesn't understand how it works. They don't pay for your shit when you get sick.
A superintendent just got arrested because she chose to take a student who was sick to the doctors because she was worried about the consequences of strep throat.
Yeah, she lost her job.
Here we go.
Country. Our goal is to pay for everyone's health care in a way that doesn't eat up a greater and greater share of our gross domestic product.
That's not the goal.
That's not the goal.
That's not the goal. The goal is to make sure everyone has health insurance.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
The goal is to make sure everyone has health care, not health insurance. Medicare. Everyone has health care. So when you have Medicare, you have health care. The goal is this is not the goal at all. That's a made up goal in his head. His goal is we have to get our health care and as a lower part of the GDP. This is not the goal. The goal is you give everyone health care. We have 30 million people without health care. That's the goal. The goal is you give everyone health care. This is some made up bullshit backwards. That's not what the goal is. The goal is you provide everyone health care. And ironically, when you do that through a Medicare for all system, it saves money. In fact, it saves trillions of dollars. We already know that. Why is this guy pretending like he doesn't know that? Why is he pretending there haven't already been studies, even right-wing studies that were funded by the Koch brothers, that admit it saves trillions of dollars? Trillions, not billions, not millions, trillions of dollars.
So what do you think, Jimmy?
This is a fucking corporatist bullshitting you, and it looks like, honest to God, he's bullshitted himself. I think he actually believes this garbage. It does, right?
Yes, he totally believes it because you know what? I'm not a doctor. I'm not this big researcher, but I could guarantee you that if you had a healthier country, probably there would be long-term consequences to health in the workplace, health in education, health in your communities. There are consequences that actually would turn into money.
You're right, Steph. Let's see if there's anything left to this.
That is the ultimate goal. The debate about policy, the debate about process is a really, really important one, but it should not be always reduced to this ideological question as to whether or not you're going along with Bernie or if you're part of the neoliberals. It is more complicated and a more nuanced than that.
No, it's not.
It's not at all. That's someone pretending that you don't understand how things work. It's much simpler than this guy. He wants to make it super complicated. It's not nuanced. It's not complicated. It's fucking Medicare for all, dick face. That's what it is. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He's gaslighting people. Now I switched. I think he does know he's lying. I switched. I think he does know.
Well, because suddenly he introduces, I didn't watch the whole podcast, so, but that he introduces neoliberals, neocons, and Bernie. I'm like, what?
So if you question what he's saying, that you're being some kind of a fucking jerk. You're being whatever, ideological or blah, blah. No, what you're doing is gaslighting people about what we need because you are a corporatist. That's why. You come from the Barack Obama administration, which gave us this piece of shit right-wing healthcare plan in the first fucking place. And Barack Obama himself makes sure we didn't get the public option. That's the guy you worship.
Let's just pretend for a second that Medicare for all would save money. The statistics are in. Medicare for all would save money. We would pay less than we're paying now. But let's just pretend that wasn't the case. And he brings up this GOP talking point
This is
about
what
the
this is.
GDP.
The
that is
GDP.
I mean, look at people who they don't go to a doctor for years and years because they can't afford to, and then they find out they have a condition that's going to kill them.
Yes.
Had they gone to a doctor every year, it would have been caught and they'd be fine. But they didn't get to go, so now they have a condition that's going to kill them. Do you think anyone has ever thought, well, if the GDP's okay, I'm not going to die in vain? Nobody has ever thought that. It's a tired right-wing talking point, and this guy's parroting it, and he goes, me parroting it doesn't make me less progressive.
Yes,
it
it does.
Surprise.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
And it makes you dishonest, which is way worse.
Yeah. So I'm going to just go out on a limb, say he's being super dishonest. He's gaslighting people on purpose. And this is not a progressive podcast. This is a status quo corporatist podcast.
It's actually Pod Kills America.
These guys are they're just anti-Trump. They're pro-corporatism. They're pro-war, I'm sure. I'm sure they're telling you bullshit about Venezuela. I'm just taking that off watching this one little clip.
Well, if this one little clip is an indicator of their podcast, they should change the name to Pod Save the Insurance Companies.
So do you hear what he said? He said it doesn't make you less progressive if you care more about the GDP than you do about everyone having health care. Yeah. Is he making a Fox News audition tape? Is that what this guy's doing?
I think we cracked the code.
It doesn't make me less progressive if I repeat GOP talking points about Medicare for all. Yes, it effing does. It really does. Jesus Christ. This is really complicated and more nuanced. You mean the thing that every other industrialized country has fucking figured out decades and decades ago? This thing is, it's a Rubik's Cube. It's a Rubik's Cube, according to Pod Save America. Fuck off, you corporatists. Just go fuck yourself. Eat a dick. We're announcing our live dates for 2019. We're going to Chicago and Portland, Seattle, New York, all over the country. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets to all our shows. It'll be right underneath there, too. Please become a patron if you like our content and help support the show. You can become a patron for $5 a month, and we give you hours of bonus material. And make sure you're subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I'm not kidding. Make sure you're subscribed and click that bell so they give you a notice when we drop a video. It's the only thing we can do to fight back against the bastards. Thanks for your support.